Okay, guys, we're here. We're doing it. They said we couldn't. They said we weren't allowed to. They said, legally speaking, if we streamed again, that there would be consequences. They said a lot of things, but what we said to them was shut up. We said, shut up. We said, we're streaming. We said, there's nothing that you can do about it. Because we're the bad boys of this game. It's Wisecrack's Case of the Mondays. I'm Michael Burns here with producer Henry. And here, I'll just say this thing real quick. We are not going to be regularly streaming on Wisecrack anymore for a bit. Could we at some point? For sure. Might there be like an occasional pop-in stream on Wisecrack if there's something to talk about? For sure. But again, the reason we're not going to for a little bit is because, like we've talked to you guys about before, we lost some of our budget at the channel. It means we got to pare things down. By paring things down, it means we're just going to focus on videos for a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Not anything is possible in the future. Anything is possible. So who knows? Who knows? But as a reminder, we'll mention this before. Henry's doing streaming stuff. I'm doing other streaming stuff. I'm going to have Henry come on and do my streaming stuff. Shout out to anyone who watched the stream I did last week where I responded to a Brazilian who saw a video I made and was like, didn't like it. I don't know. It was kind of funny. It's kind of fun to talk to Brazilians. Shout out to Brazil. Brazil.
I found the nature of the disagreement interesting because he wasn't so much like a reactionary guy coming to like defend Republicans. It was more about like the definition or perception of what postmodernism is or where you derive, like who you root as your primary like dude for postmodernism. Because you're talking about Jameson, he's talking about Foucault. Like that was an interesting.
Well, that was like a window into what so much academic debate really is.
Yeah,
which is like, this word means this. No, but I think this word means that. And it's like who cares? At the end of the day, who cares? But there you go. So today, guys, let's talk about AI stuff. We have an article that is older, but still applies to what we're talking about. And as many of you probably saw, the internet was ablaze this weekend with Miyazaki AI. Do you know what was the like origin of that, Henry? I feel like you're more clued into stuff like this than I am.
Which one's the one owned by Sam Altman? His AI model, they just dropped a new version of it that could do image generation. So people are like, oh, art is accessible now because you can just tell it to do any image in any style. And like, I saw some art scholar friends talking about like there was one of Trump in the hamburger moment with Trump in the White House where somebody was like, oh, I think I'm going to put everything in the Dutch expressionist style now. And the painting was like, it was a very muddy gray and gold kind of thing. But like I saw someone taking down how like that wasn't the Dutch expressionist style. So it's just going to create a larger confusion of terms as far as like art history and continuity goes.
Yeah. I feel like it's always a weird thing when there's a fun AI thing that happens, because it's like it's some of this is fun. Like, so when the Miyazaki stuff started, I guess I didn't tweet. I think I blue skied, or maybe I did tweet over the weekend something to the effect of like, did anyone do a 9/11 Miyazaki? And then someone immediately responded. They're like, yeah, of course someone 9/11.
Yeah, I saw a Columbine one.
I didn't see that one. That sounds intense, but it also sounds like something I would like. Not that I would. You guys know it. But it leads to one of these discussions about like, just because something is fun, just because we like something, are we really thinking through the larger implications of what that thing is and what it does? Now let's look a little bit at this article. Henry pulled it up from Gareth Watkins. It's on the New Socialist magazine. We're a couple old socialists talking about New Socialist. I don't know. I'm just kidding. It's called AI, The New Aesthetics of Fascism. It came out February 9th. Isn't it weird that February 9th was like a month and a half ago? But it kind of feels like a different world. Imagine all the stuff that's happened now that we didn't know was going to happen on February 9th.
When the article first came to mind in reaction to like the Ghibli stuff over the weekend, I could have swore it was like 3 months ago that this happened, not like one in some change.
Yeah. So let's see. It says Tommy Robinson tweets, and Tommy Robinson, in case you don't know, is like a British Nazi. You think you're so special. Daniel says, "Want to see Princess Mononoke in 4K IMAX yesterday, so enjoy actual art." That's a nice like way to respond to that. I think that's
Yeah.
really nice. Pizza Boy's going no headphones and just looking at Burns' reaction faces in chat. Okay. Where were we at? Okay. Yeah. Britain first co-leader. Britain first is again, it's like a British Nazi thing. Co-leader produces imagery of Muslim men laughing at sad white girls on public transport. An AI-generated song combining kitsch Schlager pop with crude racial stereotypes makes it the German top 50 and becomes number 3 on Spotify's global viral chart. Benjamin Netanyahu, ever heard of him? Conjures a vision of an ethnically cleansed Gaza connected by bullet train to the equally ephemeral neon. Keir Starmer's Labour Party post and is forced to take down a video of its policies as embodied by anthropomorphic animals. A few days later, they promised to mainline AI into the veins of Britain. The right loves AI generated imagery. I mean, they do. Think about this is something I find so corny. Like Elon Musk is constantly posting AI images of like him where he looks cool and like skinny and handsome and has like a chain that says Doge on it and a cool hat. But it's like, you don't look like that, dog. You know, that's not you. That's not a real person. That's an image that you have made. Trump loves doing this stuff. And of course, Trump reposted the pretty psychotic AI Gaza video, which was bad. I think if you made that video, you know, I guess the people that made it were doing it for satirical purposes, but I still think they should go to hell. I think.
Yeah, the worst of this Ghibli stuff has been the stupid damn ICE arrest Ghiblified image that the official White House account retweeted. Just, you know, beyond the cruelty is the point. It's like, no, like they're very much like the height of these people's imagination is just like a strapping white dude arresting a crying brown woman.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. So the right loves AI generated imagery. In short time, a full half of the political spectrum has collectively fallen for the glossy, disturbing visuals. And, you know, just a thought as well. Who loves AI more than anyone? I'm going to be kind of harsh for a bit. I hope that's okay. If you guys don't want to be harsh, plug your ears for 20 seconds. It's uncreative people. And note when I say that, I don't think anyone is ontologically uncreative. I think everyone is creative. I know it sounds corny. Like I sound like an inspiring third grade teacher. Go ahead, Henry.
I think beyond that, it's not because like there's uncreative people that realize they're not creative and they just go with that. They don't try. I really feel like, especially with the Ghibli case, it's the dude who reads one book and is like, that like I'm a book reading person. That is my personality. I read the one book and now like I need to be rewarded for it. Like I watched the one Ghibli thing and now I'm such a nerd for knowing the Ghibli thing and look, I did all the Ghibli stuff. Like
No, there's a sense of that for sure. And I do, this is a side note. A lot of side notes today. Get ready, guys. It's gonna be like reading a David Foster Wallace essay with all the footnotes. Except we're more brilliant than he was. Bold claim. There's a book by the songwriter Jeff Tweedy called How to Write One Song. If you're someone who's ever just been like, man, I want to do creative stuff, but I don't think I can or whatever. Even if you want to write songs, it's a book about how to just incorporate creativity into your life as just a way to enrich it, not as a means to like be famous or do whatever. And all I have to say is
profits.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the uses of AI, and some of it is funny and some of it is quirky and transgressive or whatever. But it makes sense to me that at least ideologically speaking, the ideological contingent who seems most into AI is the same ideological cohort which has been historically incapable of creating art, and in particular, the ideological cohort which struggles to embody empathy, a thing which I think comes through the creation and the experience of art. And like, what form of creativity is less empathetic than something like AI? This goes on to say, despite its proponents having little love or talent for any form of artistic expression, right-wing visual culture once ranged from memorable electioneer posters to terror wave. Today it is slop almost totally. To understand it, we must consider the right's hatred of working people, its mutual embrace of the tech industry, and primarily its profound rejection of Enlightenment humanism. The last might seem like a stretch, but bear with me. No, I mean, intuitively, that makes sense to me, like the hatred of working people. Like, why would I pay some idiots to draw when the app can do it for me? What's the value of a musician when AI can just make me an R. Kelly song about my ex?
I've seen giblified images of like the James Franco first time where the noose is just not even on his neck; it just disappears, and then one of like the This Is Fine dog where his arms just melt into his legs, and it's being posted by people who are like, "Oh yeah, like artists are done," and I just wonder, like, are you intentionally just like overlooking the flaws, or do you just like don't see the real?
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Okay. So it says the first point is more obvious. AI promises to make anyone who can write a single paragraph into a copywriter or graphic designer. Jobs generally associated with young, educated, urban, and often left-leaning workers. Yeah, I mean, I do think that's like a huge part of this is that so many elements, the stuff that AI can do does the sort of stuff that maybe more ideologically reactionary people think cuck bisexual liberals do all day or something.
Yeah, because
Even
think
go
of
ahead.
how often instead of being like seeing something genuinely cool made with the thing, the proponents who are like boosting it are like more complaining or gloating over the fact that like so many people are going to lose jobs and so many of the people they despise are going to be punished.
Yeah, like it's the people they hate that will lose jobs. So they're like, oh, this is awesome. But if you really love the free market as much as you say you do, guys, you should want people to have jobs. Also, if anyone's on Blue Sky, I didn't mean to, but I blew up over the weekend on Blue Sky with like resistance libs because I said that the Democrats have had a part in perpetuating neoliberal policies and projects that have undermined the ability of like working people to organize, and people got so mad at me. It was crazy. I never mute like replies, but I had to mute replies because I was just like, you people are insane.
No, Michael, ICE was created by the Trump administration.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, this goes on to say, sorry, oh fuck, where is it? The first, okay, sorry. Going to the selling point is that their users don't have to pay a person who is felt to be beneath them. For relatively small groups like Britain First, hiring a full-time graphic designer to keep up with its insatiable lust for images of crying soldiers and leering foreigners would clearly be an unjustifiable expense, but surely world leaders capable of marshaling vast state resources can afford at the very least to get someone from Fiverr. I mean, I think it's funny too that a lot of the stuff these people want to do is stuff they'd be embarrassed to ask someone to do. Like, I think even some of the worst people probably don't want to email a graphic designer and be like, yeah, can you make some Islamophobic art for me? Can you make some art for me about how all gay people are pedophiles? Can you do that? Like, no. But you can ask a prompt. You can put that in the little prompt, and people feel like they're okay with it.
That brings so like when you have to express what you want to someone else and you have to articulate out loud something that's only been in your brain up to that point, it does something to like your recognition of what the thing you're asking for is. That if say you're into furry porn and you have to request a very specific furry image, in the communication of that, you kind of begin to understand more both about yourself and how you want to present or convey there's barriers of intimacy and personalization and various social phenomenon that go into that you just skip when you tell a robot to do it.
2 points, the second of which is very Catholic, so get ready. Point number 1, this is a problem with digital communication being a mediator, because in general, if you aren't comfortable saying a thing while looking into the eyes of a human, then maybe it's a thing you shouldn't be saying. Point 2, this is why confession is interesting, right? Because confession, which Catholics do, the point of confession, this is the real secret, guys. The point of confession isn't that a priest absolves you of your sins. The point of confession is that you externally articulate things that you would normally not say out loud. And in doing so, you are confronted with aspects of your own self or your own unconscious. And the priest behind the wall is simply there to be the occasion for you to have that experience of self. It's the same reason why sometimes in therapy, you might have like the most profound therapy session and realize that the therapist barely said anything, because there was an occasion for you to articulate your own humanity in a way that you normally wouldn't. So shouts to Catholicism. Easter's coming up. Let's get ready, kids. For its right-wing adherents, the absence of humans is a feature, not a bug of AI, where mechanically produced art used to draw attention to its artificiality. Let's see. Yeah, Bauhaus, the brutalist, things of that nature. AI art pretends to realism. It can produce art the way right-wingers like it. Thomas Kincaid paintings, soulless DreamWorks 3D cartoons, depthless imagery that yields only the reading that its creator attended. Javier Malay, I don't care. If you're a fascist, I don't care if I say your name right. A prodigious user of AI art wants Argentinians to know that any of them could join the 265,000, mostly young people, who have lost jobs as a result of the recession that he induced to the rapturous praise of economic elites. He wants to signal that anyone can find themselves at the wrong end of his chainsaw. Chainsaw! On the subject of Instagram, anyone old enough to read this will also be old enough to remember when Mark Zuckerberg was broadly perceived as liberal. Zuck was even touted as the only presidential candidate who could beat Donald Trump. One of these guys is going to be our president one day. I don't know if it's going to be Zuck. I don't know if it's going to be Bezos. I don't know if Trump's going to change the Constitution such that Elon Musk can be president. If Elon Musk becomes president, we should all, there's I found Ezra Khan and John Stewart compelling. Am I being duped? Josh, I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I wouldn't feel like fair saying whatever. I think that Ezra Klein is profoundly skilled at making technocratic liberal policies sound a lot more based than they really are. But I'm going to get back to this. This is a short show today. It's our last stream for a while. I'm trying to get a lot of meat off the bone. The weird AI-powered fake profiles that Meta deployed in 2023 were quietly mothballed 6 months later. Like, they had one that a bunch of white guys designed that was like a black woman you could talk to, and you would be like, "Hey, Big Mama, what's going on today?" And it would be like, "Child, please." And it was just, what? What is happening here? That might have sounded like I was doing a racism, but I'm not. They did a racism. I'm just talking about the racism that they did, just to be clear. Let's see. This appears to be the fate of all commercial AI projects, at best to be ignored but tolerated when bundled with something that people actually need, and yet they persist. Why? Class solidarity. The capitalist class as a whole made a massive bet on AI. They have. The bad guys put a lot of money into it. $1 trillion, according to Goldman Sachs, a figure calculated before the Trump administration pledged a further $500 million for its project, Stargate. While previous bets on the metaverse and NFTs didn't pay off, their bet on cryptocurrency has paid off spectacularly. Trump is a meme coin. OpenAI is unable to make money on $200 subscriptions to ChatGPT. There's so many things I'd rather spend $200 on just like buying the time of a sex worker to take her out and read some Tolstoy together. Goldman Sachs cannot see any justification for its level of investment. Altman is subject to allegations of sexually abusing his sister. That's chill. Slop was very nearly the word of the year. Yada yada. And it's a thing too, right? Like, I think that because I'm not a Luddite, at least personally speaking, I'm not opposed to the idea of large advancements in technology, and I'm not opposed to large advancements in technology being used to expand the capacity of humans. This is something, Karl Marx writes about. I think the problem is all of this computing power that is helping destroy our planet is not being used to advance scientific research or medical research or scientific research. I mean, it is to like much smaller extents. It's being used to make this sort of slop and shit.
Forced meme.
And that's the problem. You know?
Yeah, for all the paranoid conspiracy theories out there about secret corporate overlords, et cetera, this is very much just a confederacy of tech companies insisting we must do this thing that has no real effective like consumer case use and is just eating up the environment.
Yeah. It's very much like a making fetch happen type thing. Let's see. And just what's up to everyone in the chat? Glad you're here. Hope you're having fun. Just a reminder, this is Wisecrack Live. I'm Michael Burns, here, producer Henry. Just a reminder, too, our official coffee partners, Yes Please. Since it's our last stream for a while, I'll say this. If you have not ordered Yes Please and you're a coffee drinker and you've thought about it, do it now, because I think the Wisecrack... Oh, fuck, do I... God damn it, I normally have some behind me. I could go grab some in a bit, but then I'd have to run for it. Maybe I'll do it for the end. But truly, click the link, use code Wisecrack and get some Yes Please coffee while you can, because, when we're not streaming, that code's going to go away. So I would just say take advantage of it while you can. In other words, the AI industry now finds that it needs all the allies it can get, and it can't afford to be picky. Skipping ahead to the next paragraph, we have seen how sensitive the tech industry's leaders are to criticism. They're all little baby boys. Mark Andreessen's Techno-Optimist Manifesto, which sucks, when not conferring sainthood upon deeply evil figures like Nick Land, largely consists of its writer begging the world to love him. Bunch of insecure boys. Mark Zuckerberg's recent interview with Joe Rogan featured lengthy sessions on how he does not feel validated by the press and government's baby boys. Just as when they reach out to canceled celebrities, the right is now proactively creating an alliance with the tech industry by communicating that even if they can't support these companies, they can offer emotional support. Like, that's the issue too. These people think that I'll say it this way. If I write something, if I make something, if I create something, if I think something, I don't think that just because I had a thought or that I did a thing that the world needs to suck my dick because of it. You know what I mean?
Why can't these dudes like revel in a sort of like outlaw status or kayfabe? You know what I mean? Like they can't play it cool. They have to be the biggest victims. I think you brought this up on another stream, but like Elon Musk, like a lot of celebrities, like they transgress some sort of moral line or ethical line or have a skeleton in their closet that people will like turn a blind eye to because they transgress a boundary in a way that's like aspirational or like, oh, I wish I was cool enough to get away with doing what they're doing. But like Elon Musk and Zuckerberg, they don't transgress anything. They're just like, look at me. Aren't I a good little boy? Why don't you like me? Look at me. I'm not doing anything wrong. Please like me.
Yeah, I do have to acknowledge the best comment in the history of the show, which is Luke Carroll saying Michael now looks like an old fisherman. That's kind of my dream, so thank you for that. You really made my day there. So no amount of normalization and validation can alter the fact that AI imagery looks like shit. And I saw someone in the chat say their science friends use it. That's great. It's good that scientists use it. I just think you should be the only ones. I think all of the resources of AI should be put into that, and it's really stupid that we're letting it be used for all this other shit. We should actually have laws and restrictions around the use of this stuff because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, when we use it for scientific research, it's not taking the jobs of scientists. It's a tool that helps scientists and medical researchers expand what they're capable of doing. AI is a tool. Great. When AI becomes a thing that replaces industries and jobs, bad, not good. That's that shit I don't like. This person says, but that I want to argue is the main draw to the right. If AI was capable of producing art that was competent, surprising, soulful, they wouldn't want it. There was a time when reactionaries were able to create good art. Dostoevsky, G.K. Chesterton, Knut Hamsun. I busted a knut on his Hamsun, and so on. But that time is long past. Decades of seething hatred of the humanities have left them unable to create or think about art. It's the psychology that leads someone to hate the humanities. That's a whole other thing for another day. Also, just a reminder, guys, I might literally set up streams on my own channel that are at least one of these times. Maybe Monday, maybe Wednesday. I'm going to try to get Henry to come there a lot and pay Henry some money to be there. Henry's going to do Techno Poverty. Like, I just want to say, while this, it's closing time. Every new beginning leads to some other beginnings. I don't know the word, the song, semisonic, things of that nature, but we're all going to stay together. Okay. Seriously. We're all going to stay together. All of us. Decades of seething hatred for the humanities left them to think about art. Skipping ahead to, the goal of the avant-garde, as her name suggests, has been to expand art's territory, show that Rothko's expanses of color, Rothko rips, or Ono's instructional paintings. Ono's underrated as an artist. I'm just going to say it. Can do what Vermeer's portraits can. There was even a time when the right partook in this, the Italian futurists being a prime example. I mean, it's not that long ago that like old school conservatives in America were actually people that were really into art and books. Like in my lifetime, I've seen this transition from conservatives being, many of them at least, are the conservative elite, being people like, okay, you guys seen Gilmore Girls? Clearly Richard, Grandpa from Gilmore Girls, clearly Richard's a Republican, right? And all his friends are Republicans, but they all like read Shakespeare and go to the opera and like watch Italian cinema and shit like that, because there was a point in time where even that type of like old money neoconservative, even if they just did it for cultural cachet, understood the value of art and culture. And now it's just over.
Yeah, something about Reaganism. I don't know. There's some 70s science fiction books I would
even
consider
Reagan was at least participated in the film industry,
right? Well, like, because I think about like libertarian like 70s sci-fi books like Dahlgren, Samuel Delaney's book. There's a few interesting genre pieces from that time, and yeah, some things happened in the 80s that I feel like reorganized the neocons and kind of did away with a lot of that.
But I even mean, Van Morrison, one of the best songwriters of our time has ass politics. Eric Clapton, incredible musician, has ass politics. But they do stuff. Art has rules, like the rules of the physical universe. They're sufficiently flexible to allow both Chopin and Merzbow, I don't know, art to be classed as music. A bunch of other examples. Next paragraph, if art is the establishing of breaking of aesthetic rules, and AI art says that there are no rules but the naked exercise of power by an in-group over an out-group. And this is true because even, like this article gets at, I skipped some of the stuff, even avant-garde art follows some type of form, or even if it's breaking with historical precedent, it's still breaking with that precedent, right? If someone is reacting against a previous movement in art, they're reacting against that thing and they're creating art that's in dialogue with that thing, even if that dialogue is a negative dialogue. But AI art just says, like, whatever I think is a thing should be a thing, completely disconnected from history or anything else. It says the only way to enjoy art is knowing that it is hurting somebody. That hurt can be direct, targeted at a particular group, or it can be directed at art itself. It can often be playful and ironized, blah, blah, blah. Musk is a Nazi, I would not be the first to observe that we're in a new phase of reaction, something best termed postmodern conservatism. Hey, I made a thing about that recently. That's a real thing. Oh, and that links to an article by our friend Matt McManus. So that's cool. The main effect of this shift has been to enshrine acting like a spoiled 15-year-old boy as the organizing principle of the reactionary movement. I'm going to read that again. The main effect of this shift has been to enshrine acting like a spoiled 15-year-old boy as the organizing principle of the reactionary movement. Counter-Enlightenment thought, going back to Burke, has been stripped of any pretense of being anything but a childish tantrum backed up by equally childish playground-level bullying. It is and has always been irritable mental gestures which seek to resemble ideas, and to post-liberal intellectuals, that's a good thing. The right-wing intellectual project is simply to ask, what would have to be true in order to justify the terrible things I want to do? I'm going to read that again, like a DJ runs it back. The right-wing intellectual project is simply to ask, what would have been true in order to justify the terrible things I want to do? The right-wing intellectual project is simply to ask what would have to be true in order to justify the terrible things that I want to do. I think it's a good line. The right-wing aesthetic project is to flood the zone in order to erode the intellectual foundations for resisting political cruelty. And here's the thing. Desire is not bad, emotion is not bad, but when our politics and existence starts from a position of, I feel a thing, thus that thing is true, thus that thing is good, that's not what we do. We feel a thing, but then we interrogate the feeling we might have, So like 15-year-old boy is like, oh, I want to touch Trisha McCaskill's boobies. Sure, you have a sexual desire for one of your classmates, okay? Let's interrogate that desire, Does that desire mean you have the right to sexually harass someone who's in your AP bio class? No, it does not, right? Does that mean you have to completely invalidate that desire? No, you're a sexual being. You're a 15-year-old boy with balls full of juice. But you have to figure out how to sort of channel that desire in a productive way where you can have a consensual experience of that desire with someone else who also desires you. It might not be Trisha McCaskill. I think she's out of your league. I'm going to be honest. I've talked to some of her friends. She does not like you. But you get the point I'm making. Truth does not set you free. Once you know that 2 + 2 = 4, that the administrative capital of the Netherlands is The Hague and not Amsterdam, or that immigration is a net economic positive for Britain, then you are forever bound to that truth. Your world has become, in some respects, smaller. Your options diminished. If it would be more enjoyable to create your own truth, then you're out of luck. Combine truths with a concern for human life and thriving, and suddenly rules start to proliferate. Yeah, people don't like rules, They want to believe that there are no rules, that they and their shirt brother can just do whatever they want. We have established the truth that heating milk reduces the bacteria and virus. I don't want to talk about milk. I'm lactose intolerant. There is some reason, of course, that any rule made in the name of Enlightenment humanism should be necessarily good. Liberal politics, blah, blah. Okay. Hopefully we're doing all right. There's a lot going on here, but I think we're getting into it. I think we're understanding it. Chris Maverick, that is not the actual name of someone. I found myself almost saying the name of a real person. And then I caught myself and recognized that's not how we do it. Shouts to Montel Jordan. Has Montel Jordan ever got canceled or been bad, or is he still good? Does anyone know? Hey, we made it to 666. 666 principles of freedom right there. Evil being a negation of the good is still a way to produce something new in its wake. Back to this article. Great article, by the way. The right is a libidinal formation. When we say libidinal, guys, we're talking about libido, right? Desire, desirous energy, something that has to do with what I want. So if we say like the right has a libidinal formation or libidinal drive, kind of just saying like 15-year-old boys that want power, that want to be cool, that want to be the big boy. Like so much of what someone like Musk does is very libidinal. As we looked at last week, his attack on Hassan Piker probably has to do with the fact that his ex-girl sat in Hassan's living room and was like, "Dog, why you so jacked?" And that made Elon feel bad. I'll be honest, if my wife left me and then sat in Hassan's room and was like, "Why are you so jacked?" Like, yeah, I would cut the power to Hassan's house and go in there with a mask on and just blow the whole shit up. But like, that's not gonna.
And then in addition, your kid also goes on Hassan's and just starts talking shit about you too. Yeah.
If my child, I'm speaking to her in the future and Hassan, if you two are ever in the same room streaming together, there will be consequences and they will be swift and they will be forceful. That's all. Okay, there's some stuff about Sart in here that I like. I'm going to just scroll down a bit. Some stuff on gender. I'm just going to go down a lot. Yeah, okay, there's a lot here. Let's wrap it up with AI as a cruel technology. AI stands for asshole invention, is a cruel technology. It replaces workers, devours millions of gallons of water, vomits CO2 in the atmosphere. That is a real thing too. The ecological, and I was kind of naive about this for a while. Look into the ecological effects of this stuff. It's not good. Cruelty is the central tenet of right-wing ideology. And it is. I kind of think that like some will argue that cruelty is epiphenomenal or secondary to the right-wing project, but it's increasingly hard to see things otherwise. Like when we are just rounding up foreign students willy-nilly, sending them to detention centers and then sending them to countries that aren't even the countries that they're from, it's just abjectly cruel.
Yeah, I think it is libidinal violence. Like people are quite literally getting off on this.
Yeah, I'll be self-promotional for a second. I made a video yesterday. It's going to go live on my personal channel around 11 a.m. I'll put a link in the chat we wrap up that's on this, on what we're doing to students in the system of education. So you guys can check that out. It's a tough edit though, because I edited it myself and I edited it in a rush. It takes me about 2 days to edit something that looks like something that Henry could do with one of his hands while he was drunk. So, just be ready for that. But it's cruel. Yeah. So cruelty is the central tenet. It is at the heart of everything they do. They are now quite willing to lose money or their lives in order to make the world a crueler place, and AI is part of this. You guys know that XAI purchased X, and it's the same guy owns them, but the one company purchased the other for stock options. Also, obviously now this is already happening, but now that XAI owns X, everything we put on X is going to go into their AI thing. That's good. It's all a mad rush to make a machine god that will liberate capital from labor for good. Because that's something that slows capital down, right? Humans, labor, having to pay people, having to deal with human rights, having to deal with unions. All of this slows down capital. More so than cryptocurrency, AI is entirely nihilistic with zero redeeming qualities. It is a blight upon the world and will take decades to clear out the mountains of slop it's generated. I do wonder, again, in this article, while he's not saying it here, it seems like the focus is on AI art. I mean, is there an argument that AI in general is bad?
I think regardless of what you use it for, there is the environmental cost. Also, the just what's labeled AI can vary different. Like in video games, you program something with AI. These like the large linear models. I don't know. I've heard some talk about like you can, if you train a language model in a closed data set on just like medical knowledge or car knowledge, you could use it in a diagnostic sense that might be effective.
Yeah.
But No, I don't know if that's even. I think there's still the energy question there.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, I mean that's one of those things where like AI from a scientific perspective, the energy would be viable in so much as it maybe gave us solutions to saving energy in the future. Okay, we were at, however, as we saw in those 2 brief weeks of last year's U.S. election campaign, the right-wing psyche is incredibly fragile. For some reason, they're able to process any inversion of empirical reality, but they're acutely sensitive to being laughed at. They are little baby bitch boys. Calling them weird absolutely works, and telling them their sole artistic output looks like shit also works. Laughing at people who treat AI art as in any way legitimate works. Talking about AI's environmental impact or its implications for the workforce will not work. They like that. It makes them feel dangerous. This is a really good point right here. I don't know why I'm picking up the mic. I never do this, but I'm doing it today because I'm capable of anything, as are you. It is true, guys. A lot of the stuff that we say about things like AI and various right-wing projects, when we're like, they hurt working people, they're racist, whatever, a lot of the people are like, yeah, that's why we like them in the first place. Fuck you. So I do think there's a value in just sometimes making fun of stuff. I don't want to make fun of stuff. I tend to be someone that likes good vibes. I don't like being made fun of, but I don't know. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. If hurting and offending people is part of the point, then we can take that fun away from them by refusing to express hurt or offense, even if we feel it. Oh, wow. Technological progress isn't linear. It's not wholly undemocratic. We, ordinary people, stopped Google Glass from being widely released because we mocked its users, calling them glass holes. The Cybertruck failed largely because of it's embarrassing to be seen in one. Did you see that Elon Musk posted a thing because like some 65-year-old gray-haired women were talking to a Cybertruck driver and they were like, this car's bad because he is a Nazi. And Elon was like, these people should be punished.
No, what?
Yeah, he tweeted, he's such a little baby. And in that interview, he like cried when he was like, Tim Walz gave a presentation and said Tesla stock, it's bad, Tesla stock is bad. So cruel. That's cruel. Tim Walz, a goddamn former public school teacher, talking about how your stock is going down and that's funny. That's cruel. But you taking Social Security funding away, taking medical funding away, taking USAID funding away, you being a part of a government that's using technology to kidnap and disappear foreign students for disagreeing with you, that's not cruel. Shut the fuck up. We've already seen that the AI industry is vulnerable. It's possible for Chinese grad students to build the same thing for a fraction of the price. The left is powerless across much of society. It is what it is. But a training in ruthless criticism of all that exists, Marx, has made us masters of negativity while always keeping one eye on the better world as possible. The slop's been cleared away. Our most effective weapons against AI and the right wing that adopted it may not be strikes, boycotts, or the power of dialectics. It might be replying cringe. This sucks and this looks like shit. Cringe. This sucks. This looks like shit. Homework. Let's all find something today that we can respond with cringe. This sucks and this looks like shit. Let's check out friend of the show. We just haven't talked to him in a bit. Yadoye Travis, very good comedian. He posted some stuff on social media. We'll look at the one on Twitter that's about this. Maybe we'll go. Do you have that up, Henry? Or can I? Did I see that link? Okay, I'll click the top left image. Of like the first thing. We'll go through this. So this is what Yadoye said. He said, "Here's a succinct, shareable overview of my thoughts on this AI shit because I do think it's worth discussing." Even in the context of ongoing genocide and global collapse, and on philosophical level beyond the obvious ecological destruction and AI-guided weapons systems. AI is not just being used to directly target civilians. And in the video that I'm putting out in 15 minutes, I have a little bit of stuff in there about they're using AI to scrub through social media, scrub through like research archives to figure out which students and academics say stuff they're not supposed to say.
And we don't have due process? Awesome.
Yeah. I believe it provides further ideological grounds for their murder. I absolutely refuse to say unaliving. We've already been conditioned towards being a consumer rather than a creative society. I think this is really important. I think we don't think about this enough, that we are consumers. We are not creative. Even as someone, like I think of myself as a creative person to an extent, but I spend so much time thinking about like music gear I could buy. And I think about that more than I probably think of like being creative. I know people that are visual artists or cinematographers, and there's like this, it's so easy to think about consumption, even if it's like, what book can I buy and read to teach me to be a better writer, or what workshop can I take, or whatever. To the point that creator is an identity that sets a person apart from the rest of humanity instead of joining the two together. If you consider that our creative capacity applies to our social conditions alongside our artistic output, we've been conditioned to accept top-down imposition of both social and artistic reality. Okay, I'll go to the next chunk. The last little bits of what makes us functionally human are being pulled out from under us. I think this is real. I think this is important. I think Udoya is absolutely right here. And we have hundreds of years of precedent for what happens when a person can be categorically defined as non-human. It's very dangerous, guys. Whether it's that we're just consumers, that we're just workers, that we're just laborers, that we're just sources for data output and input, all of these things are dehumanizing us. And we have a world where people in power can think of masses of other humans as fundamentally dehumanized. Bad things will happen. All it takes is that Webster dictionary, human, conscious and creative primate, or whatever the fuck. Years ago, I said that under the current conditions, people would become content, with art just existing and not even feel compelled to create it themselves, leaving the door open for corporations to just put out revenue-generating slop that we get absorbed in while they destroy the people that maintain any semblance of creative, artistic, or political capacity. And we all know that as much as we deny these things are true, like, if there was good enough AI and someone did, like, I don't know, some Marvel run and they made an animated series out of it, mostly using AI, and put it up on Disney Plus, like, motherfuckers would watch it. We might get mad, we might say stuff, but then people are going to click it and watch it. I mean, it makes sense that marginalized people have so consistently been more creative than their colonizers who just fill out artistic rubrics to sell. True again, like, not to say that marginalization is a necessary precondition for creativity, but if you look at recent history, and like, I watched a documentary over the weekend on the record label Blue Note, one of the most prestigious or interesting jazz labels in American history. And a lot of these musicians were talking about the early days of jazz being a way that Black people in America could channel the energy, the rage, the pain, the anxiety they were feeling because of societal conditions. And there's a reason why a lot of, like, the good whites were at least just, like, starting labels to pay these people to make music. But yeah, there's a long history of, like, marginalization and creativity. Last chunk here. Creativity has already been effectively commodified, but the automation of that process and its broader acceptance by non-aligned parties, regular people don't view themselves as creative, is a huge step towards sidelining humanity as the primary producer of human things. And this is the thing. I think a lot of people who are well-intentioned, who aren't fascist chuds, who don't abandon their children and call them dead on the internet and stuff like that, a lot of these people are just like, oh, this is fun. This AI stuff's fun. And they're not thinking through the ecological, philosophical, economic, humanistic implications. And I don't necessarily begrudge people for that, but I think we need to make that more normative as part of our societal discussion. It's all part of the replication of power structures and social forms. I would argue just as much as is the reproduction of the patriarchal family as the molecular form of the surveillance state. TLDR, in art and all things, learn to make shit or shit will be made for you. Ends it well there. In art and in all things, learn to make shit or shit will be made for you. I think shit means two different things there. Learn to make shit, or literal shit is going to be made for you in particular. And that was a thread from Udoya Travis. If you don't follow Udoya and stuff, you should. If you haven't watched his stand-up, you should. If you live in New York, go see him live. One of the funniest people who does stuff. He also has a YouTube show, I think the Complex produces, called That's Deep, where he interviews people and then will ask random philosophical and existential questions in the middle of the interview. It's really fun. I like it very, very much. It doesn't come out enough. But yeah, I understand someone saying maybe stop posting on Twitter. For sure. Old Grease. Yeah, I miss Jaded Forum too. Maybe it'll come back. Who knows? It's hard to make stuff. It's hard to keep stuff together. It's hard to pay to make stuff. That's something we're going through, over here at the crack. That's what I call Wisecrack now. I call it the crack. Reminder, you can have Yes Please coffee with a discount if you use Wisecrack. It's one of the last times that you can do that. Let's see. I'm trying to think if we should watch something, if we should talk about something. We can also, if anyone has questions today, we can AMA it in the chat a little bit. So if anyone has a question or a thing they want to talk about or something they want Henry and my opinions on, you can do that as well. Did you guys get bought by someone yet? No. Wisecrack has not been bought by anyone yet. I think there's there's conversations happening. You know, user 50 says, let's join our time together. Driftwood, I hope you get that. Yes, please. Hope you enjoy it. I'm sure I'll raw dome for the rest. We can raw dome for the rest. This is just for Drift King though. The rest of you look away. If you do not have my consent to look at this, if you are not Drift King. So if you're looking at me right now and you're not Drift King, your gaze is non-consensual. White flags too. Yes, that's going to happen. Who's the main user of AI? I don't know. Like boys on the internet.
Yeah, sometimes I'll see people make posts along the lines of like, "Oh, my 3-year-old kid talks with ChatGPT all day, and they know so much."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how common is that as a use case? Also, a friend you had once, excellent read. Hope you read more Le Guin.
Yeah. Kurt recently used the Wisecrack code for Schedule 35, and it still worked. I was thinking of using that recently to check it. That's sick.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's good to know. I can't say what that company is or does because we almost got the channel killed because of that. Sean, I did work with Ryan some, and I don't know if Ryan, I forget if he was full-time at Funhouse first or Wisecrack first. I don't know I don't know the chicken or the egg thing. Joe House said, what's the last guitar pedal you obsessed over? I'm currently obsessing over the Benson Germanium Fuzz. I don't have it, but I want one. People got some Yes Please stuff, so that's great. I started watching Daredevil Born Again over the weekend. And by that, I mean, I watched the first 10 minutes of it, and then I stopped. If you're bald too, you're allowed to look. Nicholas G says, what topic do you want to cover that Wisecrack won't let you? So here's the thing. It's not a won't let me thing. It's just that Wisecrack is not me, right? Wisecrack is a group of very talented people. Obviously people like Henry and Jackson and Greg and a lot of our freelance editors and stuff like that. And they show me the meeting guys, but our core team of Michael Luxembourg, Olivia Redden, and Amanda Shirker. So it's just one of those things where like, I at Wisecrack can't just like spit the way I may when I make my own stuff because the things we make at Wisecrack reflect more people than just me, you know? And also there's a level at which we talk about, you know, society and politics and culture, but I'm not trying to be too didactic politically here because of that. Why is Drift King so special? Because God made him that way. That's all I know. Allie, you don't need to rewind if you don't want to. Did you get mad at Daredevil? I just wasn't liking it the first 10 minutes. Joey says, who's your favorite band right now? I like this band, SML, a lot. They're like an improvisational group. I still listen to MJ Lenderman a lot. Obviously, I'm always listening to The Dead and listening to a lot of jazz these days. Collaboration with Duncan Trussell. Duncan Trussell's cool. That's all I know. I don't know who that person is. STEM biology sounds very, very cool. Joe Rogan to the left is balding. Yeah, I'll work down to that. Lux, yes, Lux did get mentioned, but don't tell him. We don't want it to go to Lux's head. Oh my God, Dapper Cat. Only been watching the past year. Thank you for reigniting my interest in political philosophy. I'm glad you got it. If there's an aspect of society that didn't deal with power, would you be able to analyze it? I think so, yeah. If I wanted to send a 6677 hat I embroidered, Honey Record, shoot me an email. Either you can find my email, it's not very hard to find, or wisecracklive666gmail.com. Allie, yes, it's because of you. Everyone let Allie Cattails know everything's shutting down because of Allie. You did this. Someone said favorite Wisecrack word. Does Henry have projects you can talk about outside of Wisecrack? He does. Talk about it, Henry.
Yeah, I'm actually streaming tonight, 7:30 p.m. CST. I'm working on a project called Techno Poverty. Me and my co-host play games, talk about books associated with the game, be it like in the same genre or like operating within the same kind of like plot structure ideas. We've been playing Maximo, Ghost to Glory. It's been a couple sessions now. We've talked about Lord Dunsany and Philip K. Dick and a bit of J.R.R. Tolkien's On Fantasy and a few other things while playing through the game. We're continuing that tonight. I'm going to talk a bit about Ursula Le Guin this time around. One of the fun things I've been enjoying is instead of it just being like a video essay where I talk about the game and associated texts and just cut it all together in a fixed manner, the stream has made it more conversational. And there's been some stuff that's kind of popped up as we play and talk with the chat that I wasn't originally like planning for the syllabus, so to say. But like Freddy Got Fingered came to mind as a joke with the chat at one point during the play. And so I'm going to screen that on the Technopoverty Discord on the 20th of April. If anyone's interested, just search out Technopoverty. I have a YouTube channel, I have a Twitch. I have a link tree wherever you find me that'll direct you everywhere else. So yeah, take a look at that. I'm trying to grease those wheels.
Self-promotion here, Henry. You act like you've been there before. Kidding. I did post a link to that band I mentioned in the chat if anyone wants to see it out. Check out Stop, Drop, Rewind, a band from Indiana. I love Indiana. I'm unliking the stream until you tell me. We've talked about this. I like Unknown Memorial Orchestra. Allie, we're just shutting. We're not going to stream for a bit because we don't have like money to do as much stuff. But also Doge shut us down. I've not watched Midnight Mass. I want to watch Adolescence. Luis is about to graduate college in poli-sci. Oh yeah, congrats, graduating. Big deal. People may be underrated. The lore file still exists, guys. I don't know. Someone asked about it. It still exists.
I will pull that up.
Yeah. Are you going to do any activist stuff later this year? Yeah, I want to and need to. I'm just trying to figure out what we need to do right now, you know? I wish we had a leader. We need like a John Brown of the modern era or something to get behind. That's both like a baby brain thing of me to say, but a real thing to say.
Is that kind of like seeking a hero or a martyr figure or a kind of individualist solution? I don't know. I'm in a bit of a paralysis right now as well. I'm paying my DSA dues, but I haven't been getting out there because I've been working so much, and I know that's like part of the intent of the system, though. It wants to exhaust you, so you can't be social, and I need to be more social.
Yeah. I know I was already struggling, and like since having a kid, it's just like there is not a lot of time. Buy some David Foster Wallace essays. Why not? Do you think there'll be a general strike? No, I do not think there will be. I'm not saying that because I don't want that to be true. I just don't think there's a possibility of that. I'm not as maybe cynical as some, but I think that, you know, Daniel Bessner, who's been on the show, and he wrote another essay about this recently. And again, I don't think I'm down to go as far as he is, but I do think that there is a real, not total impossibility, but I think it's really hard to conceive of mass politics in this moment.
I have concerns with what we saw happen with Rumeysa Ozturk and just the general powers ICE has right now to disappear people. What citizen, like, I don't know, that shocks me in a way a few other things haven't. So I don't know. I'm thinking about that. But as always, abolish ICE.
Yeah. And again, I'll post the link in a second, not to be self-promotional, but literally that's what the video I made on my channel is about. So I'm going to post the link at 11 when we go. Xerox Box, why do you like the philosophy of Soren Kierkegaard? Because he applies big ideas to life and understands that philosophy is not just about thinking, it's about living and existing, and that living and existence is messy. Let's see. Hey, dear gods of digital content and media, create pathways for people to make stuff that we like, that is good, and help us make stuff disconnected from corporations, you know? I mean, listen, Allie, if you end up in Township, we have a really great babysitter right now. I like her a lot. I'm not trying to, I can't fire someone for you, Allie. That would be very anti-labor of me. John Brown's Body, shouts to Titus Andronicus. Sorry, guys, looking through.
Monitor is an excellent album.
This is where I might like this. Just Under Reality says, question, what comes first, philosophical revolution or political? Part of me thinks they just go back and forth. Like, things happen politically that inspire thought. The things that inspire thought inspire politics, and back and forth like that. Michael, well, we got to find our John Brown, Michael McKenzie. If you find him first, let me know. Sean says if people have their treats, they won't get off their asses. We love our treats. We love our treats so much. Are you and Jared gonna do stuff together? I don't know. Maybe. Sure. Maybe. Cool Zone when? Cool Zone's they're a company that makes podcasts. They do their own thing. I think they don't need us. Hungry Killer said, wait, when did you get cancer? Is that a ball joke? I would say I'm cool with ball jokes. I don't like cancer jokes though, because that's like real. You know, it's like a real thing. People really have that. Let's see. Lori's going to start their Twitch streaming soon. That's very cool. I'm going to post a link
Keep
in a
an eye out for the little wink.
Yeah, but guys, I'll try to set up a stream and I'll talk to Henry later. This week, maybe on like Friday, we'll do a stream over. I'll do something on my channel and it'll be Henry and myself, and we'll do things that you guys recognize as what these streams are like. I'm gonna pin this to the top. I think it won't work now, but this video is gonna premiere at 11. I mean, it's 11 now. Let me see if it works. Let's see. Sometimes YouTube's clock is like behind.
I can throw it up on the watch together. We can watch Michael watching Michael.
No way, man. I want views. I want people to go watch it themselves. Are you kidding me? I'm struggling here. I'm trying to build a pathway.
Yeah, get to that video, folks. What are you doing here?
Yeah. But yeah, hey, go watch that, guys. Go check that out. Follow that channel, follow Henry's channel, follow social media. We'll let you know when we go live. And if you're on the Discord, we'll let you know then. And I'll say this, what I'll do is once I'll post some of our shit on like the Wisecrack page. I'll share it via there so you guys can find it. There's a new CJ video. Watch mine first. It takes 7 minutes, then go watch CJ. You know what I'm saying? I made a 7-minute thing. CJ's is going to be 2 hours. I love CJ. It's going to be a 2-hour video. So do mine first. Okay, guys, this isn't the end. We'll see you soon. We might see you someplace else, but we're still going to see you. And if it's us and we're together, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Who cares what platform is hosting it if we're all together? We're going to be together soon. Love you guys. See you soon. I'm Michael Burns. This is producer Henry. This has been Wisecrack's Case of the Mondays. We'll see you on the flip.
See you later, Space Cowboy.